Welcome to a new Harry's Garage video. This one is going to be slightly different because although I've got the Countach behind me, it's not involving driving the Countach today. What I'm going to have done today is something called detailing. I'm going to have this car detailed by a good friend of mine, Richard Tipper of Perfection. He's been cleaning my cars for 17 years and he's done the Countach before. But what is detailing? That's what I'm going to try and explain in this video. It's a cleaning process that's beyond just the usual polish of bodywork and things. It's going into the details, hence the name. What we're going to try and do today is enhance that originality. So instead of just concentrating on just the bodywork, the wheels will be coming off, the engine will be clean, under the front bonnet lid will be done, and it's what you're trying to do is bring back the car almost so as it moved out the showroom. That's what I love as an owner. It sort of brings back that sort of new car feel because there's a freshness to once it's finished the whole process. It takes all day, sometimes 2 days to do, to get a really top detailing done. Depends how often the car's been done in the past. So I'm going to introduce Richard now, and then we'll look around the car and see the sort of before, and then we'll work through the process as the day goes on. Hi Richard.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Right, yeah, good to see you too.
Countach. You know this car, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, done a few times.
Yes.
You're just talking to me about paint depth is something you look at before you start a car, really, to do this sort of detailing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, initially on this, given its originality, paint depth is a major concern because that limits what's achievable as far as I'm concerned.
So how would paint disappear? Why is paint depth important then?
Well, because with certain imperfections that you get, and what I'm here to try and remove, and for obviously other clients that I'm trying to remove and improve on their cars, is the scratches, the swirls, and anything on the surface or in the surface that can be polished out. Now, obviously, those imperfections can only be removed if there's enough paint on the car for that achievement.
Interior, I mean, there's only so much you can do with this, really, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, typical of Countach is these kick marks getting in and out of the car, and whatever you may have in your pocket or your belt, etc.
Yeah.
Now, I can improve this to a degree. I mean, there are other ways of achieving perfection in this certain area with painting of leather, but then that again detracts from its originality.
I love how this engine does come up, but it does need a bit of work at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, limitations on here, for example, is it's even got some of the original wax on the materials, on the metals to protect the surfaces.
Oh, okay.
So what I don't want to do is use certain chemicals which are likely to remove the original wax coating on some of these metals.
Well, it's a long process detailing the car. It's 10 to 9 in the morning. I suppose we better crack on.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Doing the wheels first initially. This is a deionising decon gel, which is really effective, non-acidic, non-corrosive.
And a bit stinky.
And a bit stinky,
on
sadly.
the wrong side.
So particularly useful at getting in all the nooks and crannies perfectly safely. This is a pH neutral soap. Essentially the reason it's pH is so that it doesn't actually remove any of the polish or wax that's on the car. But no, I use two wash bits, natural lamb's wool. Doesn't have to be specifically natural. No. But I find these to be the most effective and the safest.
Yeah.
And don't deteriorate the finish.
Okay, so you're drying the car off now, having washed it.
Yep.
And I notice you're not using a chamois.
No, I've not used chamois for 20 years now.
20 years?
Yeah, long time.
Is that a real sign of an amateur then?
Well, I think it's just technology's progressed.
Yeah.
Drying implements have improved, and I think using genuine leather as a drying, is just very last year.
So what's that?
This is a waffle weave drying towel. Just purely by the way it's made up, it absorbs a huge amount of water in comparison to its own weight.
Yeah.
So it's very effective on removing a large amount of surface water with very little wiping.
Oh, okay.
And then what I'll do afterwards to remove any water that's in sort of nooks and crannies that might drip out later, I'm going to go around it with a high pressure blower. First time for me that we've taken these wheels off, at least for cleaning, and
it shows.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, it's quite a grained finish, so it's, like I said, it doesn't add to the effectiveness, sadly, but we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of grime coming off, so like I said, an improvement it will certainly be.
So what have you done on there? You've sprayed something already.
Well, similar to the wheel cleaner, the deionising decon gel is also effective on getting a lot of grime off of these bare metal components, etc.
Oh, okay.
I suspect this car, if you've not done it yourself, has been wax oiled.
No, I did that when I first got it.
Right, okay. So, in terms of cleaning, same with the engine that we commented on earlier, with it being coated in an original hydropolymer wax. This, similarly, the actual cleaning of it won't be quite so effective. So we'll jet this off now. All right, see how it looks.
Okay.
Obviously, wax oiling has its benefits. What I would never want is for the cleaning of a car or any amount of detailing to actually detract from what the car's intention is and what the owner's intentions are with that car.
Yeah.
So you wax oiling it has actually, created a good barrier from the elements and various other things which can potentially deteriorate the components. So that hasn't happened, which is great.
What are you going to do now?
Well, clean the spare wheel.
Yeah.
Underside of it as well, and then we'll do some cleaning of these areas around here, obviously being careful not to get any of these electrics wet.
Yeah.
So water to the minimum, and see what effect it has. This product is superb in repelling any existing water that may still be there, and it also coats everything quite safely in a PTFE Teflon.
This is the detail that Richard goes to. He's a bit worried that the badge, the emblem in the corner, the bull has to be facing the front. You're saying.
It all counts, Harry. Come on.
Yeah.
Play the game. Play the game.
I'm not there. I just don't think of the details like this. Okay, well, the next stage in the detailing process is we're going to go into the engine, and we're actually going to power wash in there. And you don't do this unless you've had a lot of experience, because you can just kill electrics and ECUs by doing this.
So one of the other benefits of this particular product, the PTFE Teflon-based product that we sprayed at the front, is that it does have a cleaning ability.
Yeah.
Now I believe this oil and fuel residue around the carburettor here.
Ye old carburettors.
Yeah, absolutely. Should have the desired effect on cleaning that staining, that yellowy staining off. So we give it a go.
Yeah.
So I'll spray it from the bottom and work it up. Give it a good old drink. We spray the brush that we're going to actually use as the cleaning implement. Just agitate it all round.
Yeah.
I mean, this, to be fair, isn't a particularly grotty carburettor. I mean, I've done some on Listers and Jaguars and old Bentleys and things like that, where you can barely see the metal behind the dirt. And this stuff, it's just so effective in dripping all that grime off.
So there we are. You've really power washed that engine. I give it more time with the jet than I expected, but the key to it is what you do next.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to blow dry it and make sure all the water's out.
God, you must be pretty chuffed with that, aren't you?
Yeah, quite pleased. All the front here and the casings have all come up really nice. I've put the dressing on it now that it's bone dry. I'm going to allow those dressings to just evaporate off their own accord, and then give them a wipe down. And that will expose some of these rubbers, which don't look particularly nice, so I'll put a dedicated rubber dressing on those to the end.
For our American friends, that doesn't quite translate, does it? Rubber hoses, I think you mean by rubbers.
Ah,
yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, so
there's quite a big audience in America. I just need to just mention.
Yeah, just clarify that. Yeah.
Richard, you just told me you're going to clay the car, which I have no idea what you're talking about. I thought you just used polishes and things like that. You're talking about clay.
Yeah,
What's
polishing is one of the stages slightly later on. The clay bar. Once you've washed the car and you've dried it off, sometimes you'll feel that the surface is still quite rough. So there's contaminants on the surface that haven't come off throughout the washing process.
Okay.
Hence, clay bar. You lubricate the surface. A little bit on the clay, and then quite literally, you rub it over the surface, and you can hear it.
You think that would just scratch it up?
You would think so, but no, you can hear it being quite abrasive on the surface, and it's absorbing all of the contaminants on the surface into the clay.
That's well weird.
And now it becomes quite silent. So you know that whatever was on there is no longer.
Good Lord. You've played the car, and we're at the next stage now, Richard, which is...
I'm going to be measuring the paint. That will give me a guide as to what's going to be achievable today.
Yeah.
Just place this gauge onto the surface. It gives you an overall depth. Yeah, 399 microns. Now, typical of Lamborghini and Countach of this period, tons of paint went on them. But what I'm going to intend to do today is just to remove that light hazing that's probably occurred over the various times it's been cleaned.
Okay.
So we'll what I've got here is a rotary machine with a finishing pad. You can get varying grades. Being a finishing pad, this is quite soft and heavily aerated, so it keeps the temperatures down. See, when you've got a rotary machine spinning at quite high speed against the surface, creates friction, which of course creates heat. And if you get the paste too hot, then it involves all sorts of complications.
Yeah.
So the idea is to be very light with the machine, so you're allowing the machine to do the work.
There's one more stage to go on the paintwork. There is now a protective polish to go on it. I mean, the car looks pristine to me. I'll show you a little closer up, because just the polish and the shine on this I find amazing. But it's not the end. There is one more coating to go.
For the fact that this is going into a concours, what I'm looking for really is a real deep, wet look finish. And I think that's best achieved by a carnauba based hard wax. Obviously we're not going for ultimate protection as such, because the benefits are going to be over and above what's expected on the day of the judging. So I'm going for a hard wax, high volume carnauba, which is good protection for 6 to 8 months, I would say. But what it will really give is a oily finish, an ink-like finish.
They're the waxes that are just nutty price, aren't they?
Some of them can be.
You don't find that in Halfords, do you, really?
No. This particular wax is very nicely priced, but no, I have others which are in the thousands. But it's all down to the content, the volume of carnauba, and ease of use, to be fair, because some of these waxes, you notice how quick I'm taking that off.
Yeah.
Because the idea of a carnauba wax is not to actually leave it on for any more than about 60 to 90 seconds.
God. So you're just wiping it down, just so it's...
Yeah, that's it. We've let, for the last few hours, I've let the dressings kind of just settle.
Yeah.
And so that it doesn't look too...
It's just amazing.
Too glossy and kind of tacky, especially because on the rubbers I've had to use a silicone, which is massively effective, but of course it gives that impression of being a bit glossy and tacky and almost cheap. So I wipe it off, which leaves quite a nice natural original looking rubber.
Yeah. That's it for this evening. We're going to finish off in the morning, but the transformation is almost complete. So the last little bit's been done. What are you going to do in the morning?
In the morning, all the glass needs to be done, all of the interior, so the leather and the carpets, and I will give it probably another coat of wax. And just
another coat of wax?
I'll give it another coat, Harry. Why not? It's you.
Yeah,
I'll give it another coat. And the door shuts. I need to polish the door shuts. The boot shut, the bonnet shut. Wipe the tyres down so that they look more natural, less glossy.
Yeah.
Done all the black trim. So I reckon 2 or 3 hours in the morning it'll be finished.
That'll be done. That gives you an idea how much work goes into detailing a car. Whole day, I mean a long day, 10, 11 hours, and you're still not finished. Well, it's day 2 of this detailing the Countach, and brought it out, and this is one of the side effects when you have the engine detailed. There is obviously a lot of polish, a lot of that sort of spray gone into the engine compartment, and when you start the engine you have this scary moment when it really starts to sort of smoke and you think, oh no, what's going on? But this is perfectly normal after a detailing. So Richard's just getting everything out. We're going to start doing the glass and its interior and just the final finishing touches to the detailing. Here we go. So we're getting the stripes then, Richard?
We are. We're going to get some stripes. Yeah. I mean, I'll show you just quite simply how they're done. You can imagine it takes a long time to do a whole car.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's relatively simple. But there you go.
There you go, the stripes. So does your house have stripy carpets as well?
No.
No. Yeah. You caught a line at that then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last thing to do, driver's seat. So yeah, just a leather cleaner. Give it a good drink.
Yeah.
And the leather cleaner is actually working at opening up the pores and sort of giving you access to that dirt, so to speak. So leather cleaner's done its thing. I've wiped it off.
Yeah.
You don't want to allow it to dwell on the leather for too long. And what I'll do now is, once that's totally dry, I'll use a cream feed on it just to close back the pores again so it doesn't get dirty too early.
I think we're nearly there with the Countach now. I love looking at it when everything's opened up like this. Always looks spectacular. And then when you spot what's underneath and the transformation that Rich has managed over the last couple of days, it's just extraordinary.
To be honest, from my perspective, really pleased. It's gone well. It's been a good transformation.
Yeah.
I mean, what I love about this car is its genuine honesty. It's not restored. It is as it is, and knowing what adventures you've had in it, it's good honest example.
I always think when you have a car detailed like this, don't think you have to put it away forever, because a good detailer can then transform it. You can go anywhere you want in it, do everything you want, get it dirty again, and in a year's time have it detailed again, and it all brings it all back. That's the way to enjoy these sort of cars. And Rich, I have to say thanks ever so much for doing it.
Pleasure.
I've never really gone this close to how it's all achieved and how long it takes.
I know. Well, that's 15 hours well spent, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love it when you've done this. It brings back that sort of new car tingle. Just think, God. Imagine the guy who picked this up in 1987. It's the same sort of feeling as you get now. Just amazing.